Hello everyone, this is Jake from CINECALIBER. In today's video, I will be covering episode 2 of the new mini-series, The Penguin. I did cover episode 1 in my Batman Day celebration video. There will be a link for that in the description below, and this also is one of my most anticipated shows of the 2024 year. If anyone wants to check out my list of shows for the rest of the year, please click the link in the description below for that as well. And we're just gonna go into a recap here, guys, of what happened in episode 1 leading into this new episode. So basically, the show started off with the Penguin killing off Alberto Falcone due to him insulting the Penguin, and most of the episode was spent with him covering up the death with a kid named Victor Aguilar, who was trying to steal the Penguin's car. We also got to see the introduction of some other famous crime figures in Gotham, such as Salvatore Maroni and Sophia Falcone. They are very well-known Batman characters. There also are some unofficial characters such as Luca Falcone and acting underboss Johnny Vitti, who seem to have come to run the family in light of Falcone's death in the Batman film. I have to say one of the best parts of the episode was seeing the Penguin kind of maneuver his way between these different figures of power in his own attempt at taking over crime in Gotham City. He basically uses the death of Alberto Falcone to pit the Maronis and Falcones against each other. Now, at the same time, Sophia Falcone was very close to discovering the truth, but the Penguin's manipulations ultimately ignites a gang war between the Falcones and the Maronis, which leads to the second episode here. So yeah, we're going to go over the episode 2 now. I'm going to talk about what was a hit, the good. I have to say, guys, I think the biggest highlight of this whole episode was that of the performance of Sophia Falcone by Kristen Milotti. In this episode, she starts maneuvering to conserve the Falcone family power in light of her brother's death. I truly enjoyed seeing her more vulnerable side, especially in the opening scene of the episode. You just see a side of her that's very kind of dark. You can see that she was very close with Alberto, but you can also they explore who she was before, and she basically was a serial killer called the Hangman. So it's they go into that more emotional side of her, and it just shows like a pretty dark and disturbing character. But we've really only scratched the surface in this episode. I like to that we had to kind of see more of her resourcefulness as she navigates who the mole is inside the family, which is, as we know, is the Penguin. And I guess I just really loving the performance. We really haven't seen a full ruthless side to her yet. I mean, I guess we have, but I feel like there's just more to come with her character because of how well Kristen Milotti is playing it. It leaves more to be yearned, basically, and I'm all for it, really. The other big standout was, of course, Colin Farrell's performance as the Penguin. He's doing an outstanding job as the character. We get to see his conniving and manipulations come full force in this episode, and there are so many times he comes close to being exposed or killed, and getting to see him talk and scheme his way out of things is truly what makes the writing outstanding here. I was on the edge of my seat in a lot of these scenes because it really did feel like, he was just about to meet his maker, and then all of a sudden he just has some other card to play. He's always kind of just changing his plans around, and it's still going the way he wants. It's truly, again, they do a great job writing him, and Colin Farrell's performance just does a tremendous job here. There also was a pretty cool action sequence during this episode. It was an ambush that was set up by the Penguin and the Falcones. It's really not a very long sequence, but it's a very tense one from start to finish, especially because you're anticipating for the moment to happen since it's, been planned and staged. Of course, in most scenarios like this, it doesn't go according to plan, but the moment is epic nonetheless, not to mention showing that kind of violent, gritty tone this franchise is known for. It just gives off such a dark mafia type, Godfather level, and even Sopranos. Like I said, this show really does kind of tap into a lot of those older mafia type movies and shows that I've grown to love in my lifespan. Um, I also like too that the show is trying to sprinkle in more of Victor's backstory as well, because they really haven't revealed much. I honestly didn't see Victor being that much of a factor in this show, but seeing them slowly reveal details about him makes me think that they're trying to utilize him in the long haul. But I do like the slow build that they're going with him. It will be interesting to see how he continues to grow under the Penguin's influence going forward, being that he kind of is just skittish and he makes a pretty crucial mistake in this episode, and it leads to the Penguin just being like kind of hard on him. I really feel like, that's all going to kind of develop into something, unless they're kind of just going to use him to get, unless they're going to kill him off, basically. But I don't know. I'm just getting a feeling that he's going to have a larger role than we think, or he's going to be used for some typical plot point down the line. It remains to be seen. Um, but that was everything, guys. That was a hit with this episode. We're going to talk about what was a miss, the bad. Not too much to criticize in this episode, honestly, guys. It's doing a tremendous job. I think the only thing that was a bit off for me is that Kristen Milati's performance as Sophia Falcone actually overshadows that of Farrell's performance as the Penguin. That's not to say that his performance is bad, but they are both outstanding performances. But the show feels like it's highlighting Sophia a bit more, and that could be because she's just that great of an actor. But it does feel like I am more invested in Sophia Falcone's story than I am with Penguin's. It just feels like there's more of an emotional aspect to her than the Penguin is really just out for himself, and he's just a greedy character. Yeah, and I think that was also why I liked the Penguin in Gotham. Robin Lord Taylor's performance was great because he had a lot of emotional aspects mixed with his like ambitions. I don't get a lot of that yet with this version of the Penguin, but that could also change, being that he has such a close relationship with his mother. I think we're just gonna see that kind of play out as the show goes on. But that was really all, guys. Decent episode. Mostly performances made this show this episode really what it was, how good it was. So I'm gonna go into the conclusion. So yeah, this episode continues to be a spectacle. Its outstanding lead performances and slow buildup of gang tensions manipulated by its lead star is making this one of the best crime shows to date. Going forward, I would give this episode really a 5 out of 5, guys. It continues to be a must-see show into the deeper lore of the Batman franchise, and honestly, you don't even really need to watch Batman or know much about him to really enjoy this show. They're hitting on all cylinders here. Matt Reeves is doing a great job, and I have faith that he will continue to do so as the show goes on. But that is all I had for today. I will be covering the episode 3 once it releases. Okay, and this is Jake from CINECALIBER.